last on the what are the budget expectations for the equity and the debt markets?
So, see, the fact of the matter is that the importance of budget has gone down substantially. It has gone down substantially because two major reasons. One, earlier, budget was the main forum where government used to make new policy announcements. But now no longer is that's the case. So government makes new policy announcements all through the year. The second thing is that the major thing which was watched in the budget, particularly from the market perspective, apart from the rate of personal taxation and corporate taxation, what was being watched was the rates of indirect taxes. Now with GST, most indirect tax has gone out of the purview of the budget, the union budget. So in that sense, no big announcement happens on that area, with the exception of customs duty, and to some extent some of the remaining central excise. The budget does not announce too much on the taxation side. So far as the direct taxes are concerned, we have already rationalized the corporate tax. So therefore, no big announcement is likely from the budget. So far as the personal income tax is concerned, yes, that remains a matter of excitement. But having said that, we have seen in the past few years, government is not tinkering so much with that. So in this sense, there is not much point to remain focused on budget from the part of the equity market is concerned. But having said that, obviously on the expenditure side of the government, there will be some certain things which will be announced by the budget, and to that extent that will impact the market. Our sense is that this is the last full budget before the next general election. So in some sense, there will be some level of populism in the budget, the focus on rural development, and also the fact is that there is some level of rural distress. The rural economy is doing far worse than the urban economy. So in that sense, focus on rural, focus on agriculture, that's likely in the budget. We think there will be also the PLI schemes will also remain in focus. And in that sense, more sector may be brought under the PLI, and the amount of money which is being committed by the government on the PLI scheme, that might go up, that might excite the market. And one thing, obviously, from the equity market perspective, a lot of people are looking at is the what happens to capital gains tax, and there are very divergent views. Some people expect that there will be government might do away with the long-term capital gains tax. Some people feel actually equity may be brought at parity with other asset classes like debt. So if that happens, that will be negative for equity as an asset class. We are not sure government will tinker too much on the capital gains tax at this juncture. And at least we don't think anything major positive coming on the capital gains tax from the budget. If anything, that will be more of a negative surprise. That's our view. So far as the debt market is concerned, obviously, if we look at during 2022 or the financial year FY23, initially the bond yields had spiked a lot, and in the latter part they came down, but sort of moving sideways. Government had talked about a fiscal deficit of 6.4% of GDP for the current year. We think government will end up marginally better than that, though the subsidies expenditure has gone up substantially. But tax collection have been significantly ahead of the expectation, whether it's corporate tax, whether it's GST, whether it's personal income tax, and of late even customs collection is doing well. So basically, I think the revised number for the current year will be somewhere close to 6.2, 6.3. So pretty much what government had planned for. For the next year, government will be most likely fixing a fiscal deficit target of 5.8, 5.9% of GDP. So still you will see significant amount of supply. But having said that, I think so long as the fiscal deficit remains 5.8, 5.9, it won't be too negative for the bond market. At any case, we think with the most major central banks being done with rate hike by the middle of 2023 calendar, and possibility that the market has already factored in the kind of increase which can happen in the policy rate. So bond yields have already factored in that. So I would be slightly positive on the bond market side, because it's quite possible that some surprise might come in terms of lower fiscal deficit than what we are penciling in, 5.8 to 5.9% of the GDP. So we think the budget will be broadly neutral to the equity market. In the sector level, if the PLI schemes are tinkered with, that can be positive for those sectors. If the capital gains tax, say for example, the period for measuring long-term capital gain, if it's increased to 3 years, that will be negative for the equity market as such. For the bond market, it really depends on the fiscal deficit number, but our sense is that 5.8, 5.9% of the GDP is what government will keep, and what we think, which the consensus is already factoring in. Anything above that, debt market will react negatively. Anything significantly below that, debt market might impact positively. So that's my takeaway from the budget.